12 years ago, this video went viral on YouTube. I'll give you a snapshot. Grainy video of a simple 2-story home decorated with Christmas lights and synced to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Wizards of Winter. It is mesmerizing to watch. Lights blinking in perfect time with a complicated musical arrangement. It was so popular that it made the jump into a Miller Lite commercial in 2005. The comment section of the video praised its originality of the music and the light show that soon launched thousands of imitators. Producer Hannah McCarthy met a holiday lawn impresario here in New Hampshire who says he was already on it.
2005 is when I started animating, and that was the same year that YouTube video went viral.
This is Brian Mitchell, the man behind Mitchell's Magic Christmas in Claremont, New Hampshire.
And I was a year ahead of that, so because that was my first year that year, I was already doing it. But the hobby just started exploding for everybody after that video came out. And everybody was coming, "Oh, you're that house that was on the YouTube." I said, "No, it's not me."
Brian's pretty busy this time of year. He's got a full-time job as a grocer in Windsor, Vermont, and his nights are spent monitoring the 50,000 music-synchronized lights that cover his property. The day I caught him on the phone, he was just about to go out Christmas shopping.
About April or May, I'll start starting to dabbling with it again, and if I have any projects in mind, I'll start working on those. So it's a full-year hobby, and then all the programming of the songs, which takes a lot of time.
When Brian says a lot of time, he means hundreds of hours. For every minute of music that he syncs with his lighting display, he spends 10 hours programming with software called Light-O-Rama.
I started animating the display in 2005. At that time, I only had 16 channels. When I broke into it, now I have almost 300 channels.
Brian has 26 songs on his playlist, with the whole show clocking in at around 2 hours. That's 1,200 hours of programming, or 1/7 of a year. And so, Brian, you're married, right?
Yes.
So how does your wife feel about all these hours spent working on the display?
Keeps me at home. It keeps me out of trouble. I don't go out to bars. I don't own a boat, It's basically my big hobby.
Brian and his wife, Joyce, bought their home in Claremont back in 1990. One day, about 25 years ago, while Brian was on a tour of extravagant Christmas displays in Manchester, he got inspired.
One guy in particular that had all these moving displays and all motorized and everything. That one was really impressive. So, someday I kind of want to do that.
Brian's got a website, ClaremontChristmasLights.com, which he's had since the light animation started. It features photo spreads and a video compilation going back to that inaugural year, 2005. You can watch the shows become more elaborate as Brian adds channels and lights and new songs to the repertoire. Elsewhere on the site, you'll find driving directions to the Mitchells' home. They end in the instruction, "Follow the glow." It's not unusual to find drivers idling in their cars, ogling the displays when you pull up to the Mitchell house. A green glowing sign planted in the front yard invites people to listen to the lights by tuning to a short-range radio signal broadcast from Brian's basement. Though if you're close enough, you'll catch the music coming from speakers in the yard. Visitors slowly emerge from their cars and drift across the street, some surprised to find that the Mitchell display is a walkthrough, leading people to a backyard scene of these painted wooden cutouts and light-up penguins and angels and Santas and reindeer, all arranged according to a different theme every year.
Hey, we've never been here before. This is great. Yeah. My wife heard about it, so we're like, oh, we should go check it out. And I grew up not far from here, so I was like, oh, I've never heard of it. Why have I never heard of it? So we drove down and, we put it on the GPS. It was like, take a left, take a right, take a left. She's 2.5, so she can't stop staring at it, and sees Olaf over there. And
Meanwhile, out front, the feature-length light show takes up every spare surface, with a 2D Christmas tree assuming the occasional speaking role, and stars and flashbulbs bursting like tiny fireworks in the trees.
Wow. That's dedication. That is great.
With your phones, you think to yourself that you could just press, like I have a Bluetooth light that I can sync the audio to, and it just like flashes on and off, so that's what I thought it was. But to think that he spends 10 hours, oh, holy smokes.
Being such a big production, Brian Mitchell's display does need regular upkeep. So if you stick around long enough, there's a chance the creator himself will appear.
Well, I'm looking at this, which is froze up.
Oh, I see that, yeah.
It's supposed to turn more, so I was just about to go and fix that.
Brian is tall, he wears glasses, he was in jeans and a blue fleece when I met him. You might think he's just another visitor to the yard until he reaches into the display to straighten a fallen blow-up penguin or inspect the abominable snowman.
We hang out until the traffic slows down, usually. Sometimes it's 8 o'clock. Sometimes, like on weekends, it doesn't let up until the lights go off.
Brian says the display creates its own little community, with people who came as kids bringing their own children to see how the lights have changed. There's been at least one marriage proposal in the backyard. And then there's the community of people like Brian.
There's several of them that I'm in. Two of them on the internet. 20,000 members in it now.
Do you guys trade insider tips?
We trade everything. Everybody helps everybody. Anyone that's having problems, 10 to 15 people will jump right in and offer solutions.
Like any other hobby, Brian says this one costs him money. Fishermen have their reels, he has his lights. But the operating cost, he says, is only about $8 a day. In the early days, people offered him donations for the show, but he said he didn't want other people paying for his own hobby. So instead, he put out a donation box for David's House, which provides housing for families of children in treatment at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. They raise about $2,000 a year. The only real catch is that Brian really loves checking out other great displays. And these days...
I don't have much of a chance to anymore. I would love to, but we're pretty much glued here every night.
Though it does mean that he has a chance to work on his YouTube videos. Brian says they haven't gone viral yet, but he is working on it.
Yeah, they're better now. I got a GoPro. So I got a GoPro last year for Christmas, and so it's improved my videos.
So, Virginia, do you want to see one of these videos?
Of course, let's see it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, my word. Oh, my word. It's like Graceland.
Yeah.
Wow. There are like rainbows of light, animated. Oh, my God. And now a Christmas tree is singing.
Oh, yeah.
This is amazing. Amazing. Gotta hand it to Mitchell.
I know, you really do.
But it looks like a ton of work. If somebody wanted to get into this hobby, what would that take?
Well, so those 1,200 hours of programming aside, Brian told me that he starts pulling out the decorations on October 15th, and then he lights up on Black Friday. And somewhere in there, he takes a week-long vacation just to work on the display.
So that's like 6 weeks of decorating, not to mention however long it took to buy all the decorations.
And Brian makes a ton of those himself. He's even got this thing that he calls a naughty or nice machine. You press this big red button and wait while the machine decides basically where on Santa's list you fall.
So funny. A pretty major commitment, though. Does it pay off for him? I mean, aside from spreading holiday cheer.
Well, Brian chooses to have donations sent to David's House, but a lot of people do enter contests in this field. So I know that Light-O-Rama company that Brian uses to help program, it has a contest every year that's got some pretty tech-specific entry guidelines. And then if you're really good, apparently there's this show called The Great Christmas Light Fight, and the prize on that one is $50,000.
Well, that's great American innovation, turning Christmas decorations into a full-blown competitive sport.
Yeah, I dare say Santa would be proud.
Thanks so much for listening to The Lights.
I consider it my elfly duty, Virginia.
Definitely the nice elf. Word of Mouth was produced this week by Hannah McCarthy with help from Taylor Quimby, Jimmy Gutierrez, Ben Henry, and Justine Paradise. Maureen McMurray is director of that super tangled string of lights that gives you trouble every year. You can check out videos and photos of the Mitchells' masterpiece at wordofmouthradio.org. Music in this episode from Blue Dot Sessions.